Welcome to this unique comparison between both Counter-Strike Global Offensive and Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. As Global Offensive becomes increasingly popular, we've seen the migration of players and teams from other FPS games making the transfer over to Go. It only makes sense to fairly assess the differences of the in-game mechanics across both of the games, so for this segment, we're going to be detailing the differences in movement behavior in both Go and Call of Duty. To start, Call of Duty players have the option to use the crosshair, but much more commonly use iron sights for increased accuracy. For many players, this choice helps to dictate how players are going to move around in the game. So for example, putting yourself behind objects and using the iron sights in a prone position is a relatively common strategy for certain roles during competitive matches. Switching over to Global Offensive, obviously, all players of previous versions of Counter-Strike will note that the crosshair is the foundation for how players aim. Simply put, there are no iron sight views in Counter-Strike, forcing weapon handling to be focused solely around the crosshair. So pointing out the ability to prone and aim down your sights in COD is by no means suggesting that COD is a slow game, as players have the ability to sprint and get a temporary burst of speed. While there is no direct sprint function in Counter-Strike Global Offensive, the closest counterpart lies within equipping your knife while running. Notice how running with the AK-47 equipped only lets you run at a maximum of 215 units per second compared to the knife's max speed of 250 units per second. Even a casual Call of Duty player can tell you that hugging the wall while running or sprinting will increase your speed. However, this dynamic does not translate over to Global Offensive in any way. This aspect's pretty cool. With the way player-to-environment interaction works in COD, you can slide off of objects in certain instances, as shown right here. Unfortunately, you can't do the same in Go, but one of the most closely related functionalities would be the bombsite B jump. Grappling, or getting close to a tall object such as a fence and pressing the jump key, is another movement function that COD players are accustomed with in order to reach elevated positions. Again, while you can't grapple in Go, you can reach elevated spots on your own by utilizing a couple of different techniques, such as air strafing. Subjectively speaking, ladder movement in COD is pretty straightforward and limited. Notice how much ladders slow you down, and most importantly, notice that you cannot shoot while climbing. It's really quite different in Global Offensive, as you can climb up ladders very quickly, you can gain momentum to reach less predictable positions, and you can shoot your guns at any time while on ladders, even though it's mostly inaccurate aside from pistols. While you can jump over medium-sized objects and ledges in COD, it should be noted that, again, you will temporarily lose the ability to shoot your weapon. CSGO players simply tap the jump key to get over ledges and do not experience any slowdown from a custom animation, and you're not restricted from firing your weapon. This video is in no way boasting or citing any opinions. We simply wanted to compare movement in Global Offensive and COD fairly to show players the differences that they'll experience when switching games.